Happy to do this voice podcast with you.
Thank you so much.
Getting into business is not something new, something else pulled you. So, what was it? Was it more of a push or a pull?
That was always there in a DNA. Coming from a Marwadi background, you always told you do something for yourself.
You wanted to get into the entrepreneurial risky journey before getting married?
Your family, your brothers or sisters kind of supporting you. Finally, the risk has to be taken by you. We're all in the
Entrepreneurial
fence
risk or
setter.
marriage risk? Is it that you had a business idea? What exactly did you have as a starting point?
The idea was that in Facebook, if you launch an app, and if I want to gift you someone, I will invite 10 people to join it. Everything was happening around tech, the internet penetration, growth in Flipkart, Snapdeal, everything was happening at that point in time.
Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to
afternoon.
this beautiful MAHE campus at Bengaluru.
Thank you so much.
And I'm happy to do this voice podcast with you, one of the first programs that we're doing. We want
so
to
much.
capture in this program, we want to capture your entrepreneurial journey and what has been your experience, what challenges you faced, and then draw some general principles which you may want to share. But before that, I think it's a good idea to start with some introduction. Tell us a little more about your background.
Sure. So I'm Sumit Khandelwal, born and brought up in Jamshedpur, the city of Tatas. Spent my childhood in Jamshedpur, which is really a cosmopolitan city. That city helps you learn a lot about culture as well, because you do spend your time celebrating the festivals of Durga Puja as well as Ganpati and as well as Onam, right? So that's the beauty of that city as well. After my schooling, I kind of went ahead and did my engineering, which was in Nagpur. And post that, worked in software company, Hexaware, for a couple of years before doing my MBA at TAPMI, which is now part of MAHE. And post my MBA today, we like 15 years since my MBA. I spent a couple of times working in sales and marketing role with companies like Wipro Consumer Care and then Metro Cash and Carry before getting into the whole idea of starting a company. That was always there in a DNA. Coming from a Marwadi background, you always told you do something for yourself. It's been almost 11 years running this company called Xoxoday, and I kind of love that every day, and that's why it kind of keeps me growing. Today, married with my wife Shruti, who is a chartered accountant who does not manages finance at home, but also makes me sure that I'm taking care of my financials. And with a son who is 7.
Okay.
And beyond work, I like to do bike riding. I do long bike rides. I do half marathon runs. That kind of gives you a lot of lessons for your business as well. And I like to spend time with family. That's brief about me.
You mentioned that you come from a Marwadi family and maybe, it was always in your DNA. So getting into business is not something new from your perspective. But what were the triggers? When did you decide that you want to strike out on your own? And my question also comes from the fact that I'm sure at that point in time, you were already at a middle management level and you were earning reasonably well. So there must have been some strong trigger. Either you didn't like your job or something else pulled you. So what was it? Was it more of a push or a pull?
I think there are few things which always help you, and I would say that one, your own vision of what you want to really do. So I always wanted to do something for myself. I think that's something which was there, that I want to do a business which is really big, scalable. That was something which I wanted to do. Second is once you want to do that, you really want to understand what is it which is required to take. So while I was doing my job at Wipro and Metro Cash and Carry, I kind of also was doing some small ideas here and there. And that helped me understand that when you have to do entrepreneurship, you really need to build up a team and kind of build up the whole business plan, etc. Right? And during my MBA college, I think if you ask anybody in my batch, I was the one guy doing business plans left, right, and center. And I recently met people saying, "Hey, you were always doing that." So that was always something which was there. And so while I was in the job, I was always looking for what is that idea or what is that business I want to really do. That also comes from a background that I am the youngest of my brothers, and they gave me enough confidence that, hey, you go, we will back you up. That question always helps. Your family is your parents, and you are generally well-to-do, so you always thought that you don't have anything to lose because one, your education gives you an insurance that you will get a job, and then your family told you that, hey, don't worry, you'll make you married. So I think those were kind of things which are always helpful for you to take that punt relatively better.
That takes me to the next question. Were you married at that point in time?
No, I was not married.
Okay. So you wanted to get into the entrepreneurial risky journey before getting married. Was that something that you thought of at that point in time?
Yeah, so I think those were some stuff which were also clear. During my I think for the previous question, I wanted to do, hence I did, because I was probably doing one of the best in my corporate jobs at that point in time. And so I was doing very good in my career, and it's always good that when you want to try something, you leave it at that top part of your career, because then you always start with a lot of confidence saying, I'm doing good. And in case something doesn't work out, you can go back to and going back the jobs, right? So that was there. In terms of marriage, I think some of these things, while you have all of these pieces, which is your family, your brothers or sisters kind of supporting you, finally the risk has to be taken by you. I think all of them are all in the fence sitter.
Marriage risk.
No, entrepreneur risk. So you can because decisions made are always yours. You cannot put it back to your family that they told you to take a decision. Yeah. So I took that decision and always felt that it's better that I do that before I get married, because that will also give me a few years to kind of experiment and do things. Hence I kind of took that bet. One of the things which I also did was I realized that while I was doing my whole test of startups during my jobs at Wipro and Metro, I realized that I need to really find my co-founders who are there with me in the journey. And it's always said that if you're not able to sell your business idea to one person who can be your co-founder and equally excited, you'll never be able to sell it to anybody else in the market. So I found my co-founder who's still with me, and I'm really happy and privileged to have them as my co-founders. So once I found my co-founder, we discussed multiple ideas, and then one fine day I said, I think we have got the team or my co-founders who are backing me up. And now ideas are something, we discussed multiple ideas, but we said, let's get started. And I kind of one fine day went ahead and just put my papers and said, hey, I've left my job. So yeah, that's the way it started.
How many co-founders were there?
So initially, I and Manoj were the co-founders who started.
Okay.
And
two of you only.
Two of us started,
and both of you were fully into it in the sense you quit your job and then really jumped into it?
Yeah, so I think today we are like 4 co-founders and one other member who is the part of the founding team. So, but there are different instances, right? So Manoj was married and I was kind of I was still young, and I think so when Manoj and I spent time. I still remember the day, 1st January 2012, is when Manoj and I kind of met. We are not friends then, and we met through a person who connected us just by saying, hey, I think you guys. So this guy called as Gokul, who used to go as a pool with me to my job, and used to earlier work with Manoj. He said that, hey, why don't you guys meet? You've always been speaking business.
Interesting. Finding your co-founder through some other common friend and then really striking it.
That's
striking
right.
a relationship.
So I think some of these things you also have to give it to destiny and somewhere or someone on top saying that, hey, this is supposed to happen for you.
What was the starting point? Is it that you had a business idea? What exactly did you have as a starting point?
No. So I think we just, we met and then we discussed multiple things, right? I had some 5 ideas. Manoj had some 10 ideas. But the first thing which we were doing when we met was just trying to know each other. I think the journey of entrepreneurship and the time I spend with Manoj is more than that I do with my wife. So it's very important to get that compatibility. So when I met Manoj and we discussed multiple ideas, so once 1st January is when we met, February or mid-March is when we discussed multiple ideas. One thing we arrived by the time it was March was that we'll do something together, right? Which means I spent time with his family. He understood my family. So it's as good as marriage. And when kind of in March, we were discussing multiple ideas. Somewhere around the 18th or 20th March, I came back to say to Manoj, I'm quitting. I've kept my job, and he was still at Flipkart at that point in time. And I said, I've left my job and now we need to do something. Manoj said, yeah, the only thing which was there as a commit at that point in time was that we'll do something together and we'll work together for 2 years and do something together. And don't bother. And that is very, very important. That trust is very important.
Intent, and you had a clutch of ideas.
We had a lot of ideas. Yeah, we had a lot of ideas. So, so then what we did was, so I left and then kind of we started, and then obviously Manoj had a notice period to serve. So I think it was by and large around August when kind of Manoj also left his job and he was with.
Okay.
And then we started doing it, and then we realized that we are trying to build a tech business, and neither Manoj coast, he's from IIM Kozhikode. So then our search started for finding a tech founder. And we kept searching. Finding a co-founder in today's world, especially a tech founder, is like finding God. So we kept finding people, and luckily we met Abhishek, who happened to be from the same town as Jamshedpur. Again, this is luck. And then who was a good friend of my groupie in college at TAPMI. And they got us connected, and then we met, who is Abhishek, who is still as a co-founder, is a graduate from IIT Bombay. So our core team of Abhishek, me, Manoj were by and large there together by September. And that's when the Kushal is the last founder, joined in as an intern. And around December, he said that he wanted to become a part of it.
How many founders do you have right now?
So 4 co-founders. Four co-founders, yeah. And then we had Abhimanyu joined late as a part of the founding team, right, which was a bit
So
later.
really a background in tech. Why did you guys actually land on tech kind of business ideas?
This, I would say, is a function of that any business is not built by a specific person, right? It's a mix of different capabilities which you have to do. That's one. Second, we are always looking at that the whole evolution of digital e-commerce was happening at that point in time. So everything and every idea.
Opportunity based. That's where you saw opportunity.
Yeah. So everything was happening around tech, the internet penetration, growth in Flipkart, Snapdeal. Everything was happening at that point in time. And our idea was also from a company which was acquired by Facebook. So we said that let's replicate the same thing. And the whole idea was that you build something and then you would be acquired by some company and kind of you would be able to make it big. So that was the whole journey. And then from a tech standpoint, I did not have a lot of tech. Obviously, a bit of it from my IT job, but Manoj was a coder with Yahoo and then worked with Flipkart. Plus, Manoj comes with a background which is with he and his family, which is very, very deep tech, right? So that helped, and hence that mix helped us think of a tech.
First business idea that you actually hit the market.
So first idea was, now company was that time called as Gift Zozo.
Gift Zozo. Okay.
Yeah, and the idea was around building a group gifting. So the whole idea was that people pull in money and then gift.
Okay.
And why not make it in a social or digital environment? And at that time, Facebook was also at its peak. We said that why don't you build an app on the top of Facebook, which can allow people to pull in money and then create a gift registry, which individuals can then use it for their own gift, right? So take an example that you want to give something. So there's one of the professor's birthday, everybody will pull in 1,000 rupees and then give him something. So on the same lines, we built up.
Okay. So it is really a consumer business that you actually started with.
That's right.
In terms of idea.
That's right. And we always wanted to build. So I think the core proposition of us as founders was to build something which is for scale, large business, and something which you really feel to do for the rest of your life and we feel proud of. That is something which helps being from good pedigree, good colleges, people who are really thoughtful, intelligent.
Exactly the point I was coming to. Did you make a business plan in terms of what would be your revenue in the year one and what would be your operating costs? When will you hit break even? and how the business will scale? Did you really create a business plan?
Yeah. So all of those. So I think that is the roles that we started then also identifying, right? So the roles we started identifying was that Sumit is good in finance and Sumit is good in business plan making, etc., and strategy. Manoj started identifying that he's good in product tech, and then obviously Abhishek was there, and then Kushal. So eventually everybody looks at some pieces, but my understanding and my knowledge was all about building those business plans. So built up those. It's not that we did not break. We made multiple business plans and a break even. But to be really honest, we launched it somewhere in September or October. Till December, 12, and till December, we did not get any order. So that's when reality hit you. You spend time, so it's like February, March, you left till September, October, nothing is happening. Until we met some gentleman and said, hey, while you're doing these are good, or these are fashion in the right sense. So you have to build something where you actually make money. So that's when reality hit us, and then we pivoted, and then we moved into something else.
But what was the starting point for your business? In group gifting, I can understand. But was it about first tying up with vendors or creating customer pool? What was the actual starting point? What is the adoption route actually?
So nothing. So the idea was that in Facebook, if you launch an app, and if I want to gift you someone, I will invite 10 people to join into it.
Okay.
Now that means it will also become social.
Okay.
So that was the whole idea, and we believe that it would really lead to a similar chain the way Facebook happens.
Okay.
And hence your adoption would really be fast.
So you're basically building a platform for platform or an app for facilitating the
group gifting
entire transaction. It's not that you were trying to create alliances with gift service providers or gift providers. That was not the...
So that was not there, but those are stuff which you do now. But we started with that whole application that we'll just make it and then create a gift registry. But realized that this is good, but there's nobody coming up and nobody was creating a gift registry. So that's when reality hit in, and then somebody told, or someone, we keep meeting a lot of mentors and people. Somebody said that, why don't you do proper gifting as a business and do that for B2B? And that's when we got into whole gifting world altogether, and then build up the whole vendor network, etc.
Okay. But were you really burning cash at that point in time? Were your operating costs high in the initial stages of your business?
So we did hire a couple of guys. Obviously, it was not a lot of cash burning, but one of the things which we did, and some of those are very, very important to our benefit. I mentioned, right? You had your parents who were well-to-do. You had your brothers who said that you will support you. So those helped us, which means I was never thought.
An office, for example.
Yeah. So for office, when we had to set up and to kind of give our understanding, we did not want to pay a rent. We gave 1% equity of the company against the rent. And this person kind of got a liquidity event. He made the biggest life earning from that 1% who gave us for our office for 12 months, which would have costed around 180,000 rupees, 1,80,000 for the year. I would say that he earned some 200x out of it.
Wow.
So that's what we gave, because we didn't want to do that. 15,000 rupees was cash. We as founders did not take salary for the first 3 years. And then till I kind of, even after getting married, I was at like 10,000 rupees. Till that time, my wife said, what is he doing? So some of these were part and parcel. I think the only thing which kept us going was, let's try, let's do hard, let's put in more efforts, keep moving with the right vision. And I think that helped.
So how did the business change? I mean, where did you start getting some traction?
So the business has kept evolving, right? So we got into the whole, we got into doing corporate gifting because this whole group gifting was not working. So, and that was also the time when peak season of Diwali gifting, etc. was there. So, and I think one of the things we realized, someone told us that the only way and the best way to make money is to get cash. And that was single thing which we have really been thoughtful about. So get cash from customers. So we got these products and we sold these to corporates. We kept adding corporates and then started doing group gifting, which was like T-shirts, caps, bags, jackets, etc., and started earning some money, right? But then we realized that can we really do, because this is something which corporate gifting is done by at least, if not 50,000 people, at least 40,000 people in the market today. The idea was that, is this something which is wonderful? Is this something which is standard, scalable?
Yeah.
That was something which is not coming out, right? And I think those are stuff where you go back to your drawing board with your co-founders and say, is this something which you wanted to do? Is this because you did your IIT for? Or is this something which you did your MBA for? That made you think through saying that, no, this is not something we should do. Then you have to build something which is more innovative. Then we moved from doing corporate gifting to doing experience gifting. So that was the business which we did, which was around offering experiences, which could be dining experience, travel experience, wellness.
Okay.
Saying that, hey, today you are giving him something like a product, give an experience because you will cherish that for your life.
Again, for enterprise customers.
Only for enterprise customers. So with that experience gifting, that picked up. So that was one area where we picked up a lot of customers. We found it was being used for employee gifting, customer gifting, partner gifting or sales channel gifting, etc. While we were doing this, and I think the dil mange more, right? So we said that we are selling to corporates, it's being used, people are liking it. Why don't we launch our experience website, which is end user can buy that? So the idea was that if I'm gifting to you and you're liking it, why not you buy for yourself? Because finally, when you reach or land in a city, you get your hotels booked and your kind of travel booked. But things to do is something which is still not done in India. So we built our experience website and then we got into that business. Spent some time, raised some capital with Mahindra Holidays at that point in time. Realized that this B2C business was not scaling. We are a bit ahead of time. And at that point in time, somebody said that, hey, your B2B business, which is gifting, is something good, but why don't you build a platform for gifting? And then we built our whole SaaS applications, which is what our business is today. So multiple pivots. So to give a crux, group gifting, corporate gifting, experience gifting, B2C experience, then software platform for rewards recognition.
What did the platform do actually? What did it enable actually?
So today, when you look at organizations look at spending in different elements to build a right culture. So there's a spend which organizations do for employee rewards recognition. They believe that rewards is something which is good, but you need to build recognition as a habit. And this recognition habits builds up the whole culture where people want to work in the organization. They believe that they are really loved in the organization. And that really reduces the attrition and improves business performance. So the platform manages 2-3 things. One, they get you the pulse of the employees, which means are the employees happy, not happy? So there's a pulse survey or NPS survey, which is very important metrics. Then it has recognition elements to it, which means you can do a pat on the back. You can appreciate people for doing small acts, etc. And then you have the entire reward workflows, which could be your spot awards, your monthly awards, your annual awards, your service awards, your target-based, KPI-based awards, etc. So that's one of the products which we have. We call that as Impulse. And then we have a product which is around sales and channel commission automation software. So there's a lot of spends which happen on channel partners incentives, which has to link back to the data calculation scheme programs, etc. So we build up applications on that. And on the reward type, what was always there was that people should love their reward. So we built up a marketplace where people can choose a bouquet of options. So we built up the whole point engine. And on the marketplace, you could use it for your vouchers or travel or dining or multiple things. So
there did you create alliances with the vendors?
That's right.
So that you get a better deal. Otherwise, your client is not going to find any reason to come to you. He can go and source it himself. So he has to find some value in what you're doing.
So I think exactly, and you're bang on. So we built up the whole marketplace, which is for the reward marketplace, which has multiple options. And then people can kind of choose what they want to. And we kept adding to it, right? So that's something which we built up, one of the largest one globally, kept adding vendors, which is meaningful in nature. And then obviously going, largely at the corporate side, we kept selling. So one of the things we always did, and that's a part of the DNA, and possibly you must be teaching in sales as well, is keep selling. I think, and that also came in from my FMCG days where you are just told go and sell and get the heck out of it.
Which was easier when you actually had the platform ready and operating?
I would say the whole, so one of the things, right, which I learned during my my job and also to my family in terms of business was you have to keep growing. So while I kept pivoting, I kept growing as well. So which means I always had the eye on my revenue, on last month to this month revenue, and are we growing or not growing. So all these pivots kept happening where we changed one business model to another business model, but we kept growing our revenue every year. Our core software, the basic product kind of went live, I would say somewhere around 2015.
2015.
And then 2018 is when our software products kind of went live.
Hey, the reason I wanted to get the timeline was, by the time, how big was your organization? 2015, did you have offices in other locations, or were you still a Bangalore-based organization?
We did not have offices in other locations. We are headquartered in Bangalore, but we had teams in Delhi. We had teams in Mumbai, and we were selling to the US already. And the team size, I think by 2015 would have been around, I would say, 50 to 70 people.
Oh, that's quite big, actually.
And
And I'm assuming a bulk of them would be in terms of selling, acquiring clients.
Yeah, acquiring clients and technology, right? So technology, acquiring clients, vendor management, all of this, right? Because you are trying to build experiences. We had built up a partnership with at least 4,000 vendors, experience providers. Yeah, so I think there's a lot of things which are there, and I think one day you called up saying we'll stop all of those.
So the 4,000 vendors, did you have a business model with them, or was there a revenue possibility from the vendors by listing or any other?
So we did all of those, and finally what was coming out was with this whole experience business, while it was innovative, I think we did not launch in the right market. India is a market where people are only deal seekers. I think those are some stuff which is right as well. Second, India, the consistency in supply of services are not there. Leave aside Taj, where you were very sure that the supply would be very, very standard. If you have to do a paragliding or a para jumping, you have to really be cautious whether you live or die after that, right? So there's no consistency in supply. Third, by and large, at least in the urban cities, given the traffic and population, people in urban cities are really not wanting to try something adventurous. Weekends are all about a beer and then probably sleep. And that's where also the DNA comes in, that people go to hit the gym, right? Because they say, hey, they will make those business ideas saying, I'll go to a gym, but they will really not do that. So realize that we were doing right things, but it's a bit ahead of time. And they also had to get into a place where it has to be all about discounting. So
what was at the heart of your own revenue model? Was it listing? Was it commission? Or was it charging your clients?
So commissions and charging our clients.
Okay. So the clients were ready to pay for the...
Yeah. So I think on the distribution part or the reward distribution, they were not ready. But when it started getting to the story about building a culture of recognition where our software play came in, which is largely around 2017-18, this was also when a customer came back to say, hey, why don't you build this software? So we are not building it. A customer came back to say that, hey, why don't you build this software for me and we'll pay you for that. So, and when somebody is ready to pay for that, we said that let's put 2 engineers to it and do it. And then we built up that product and then started selling it to the market. So then we started earning software revenue and then obviously a margin from the reward spends which happened to my platform.
Okay. So let's move on. From this period, you really got into enterprise experience and enterprise reward programs for their own employees.
And channel partners and sales.
Incentives and channel rewards. So how did the business change in character after that?
So when we are doing these whole experience bit, the culture was all about vendor management, less tech. When it became the whole enterprise play about selling it as a software and then rewards was just part of it. So the whole DNA of the company had to change. And if you look at the people who you hire are always hired for a particular role in a particular format. So someone who was doing let's say a corporate gifting was the sales guys or the guys who were least knowing technology, to becoming someone who is to sell a technology software is a very different DNA. So you have to continuously spend time to make your organization get adapted to this, which means changing the whole teams for that. A lot of learning curve to go through, and then also spending time towards investing in tech, because you are moving from a company which is not into software to becoming a software business at the heart. I think eventually what a lot of organizations also found a benefit, and which we also eventually got, was when COVID hit, people started knowing this a lot more because everybody wanted a digital platform.
Okay.
A
So
digital
COVID had a
rewards.
positive impact on your business.
I think every business, I would say largely, so digital rewards, digital recognition, people wanted automation, people are looking for tools for automating every function. So those were positives which came out of it.
Okay.
But that also had a negative impact because our investments in global kind of reduced because we are at that time moving to sell to global customers. And that plan got derailed by a year or so because we did not know how much cash to conserve for those, etc.
Okay. So in this particular phase, when your business is going through a consolidation phase, I'm assuming you were, by the time you have already broken even and you were making profits. So where did you think your business was going next?
So I think profits, etc. One of the things we have always been doing, the moment we reach towards profitability, we invest in something.
Okay.
So I think it's like a mirage which keeps moving, and it's also helpful, right? Because if you always look at profits, and that's something where I would compliment my co-founders to be, because if you always look at profits, and if you look at profits at a smaller scale, you'd as well be good to run a shop. You have to look at profits, and at least thought of profitability should be there, but you should really look at profitability at a scale. So every time we are close to profit, we'll add the extra resources, which is building innovation or build a new product.
Okay.
So to your answer, will we profitable? We were never profitable. We were very close to EBITDA. We never got EBITDA.
But by the time you were paying yourself salaries, I'm assuming,
Yes.
all the co-founders.
So the salaries, I think up till we raised a lot of capital, we were at a salary brackets of 50,000 rupees, 70,000 rupees, when my batchmates would have been at a salary bracket of some 4-5 lakh rupees. But that's part in life. So I think, but yeah, I think so. We really got into a place where we said that the business is in a certain stage stabilized. So post-COVID, and then COVID hit, right? At that time, you had to build up a lot of changes, manage cash flow. So we never raised a lot of capital. And to give you a flavor, we built a business of, so our angel investors who had invested somewhere around 50 lakh rupees in our business in 2013, we gave them an exit of 80x.
Wow.
Right? I always believe my dad could have put in that money in my business. That could have helped him get 80x returns, right? And then we raised a small round. So in the world today where people raise tons of and millions of money, we did not take a lot of money up till 2022 when we raised a large round, which was from a private equity. Otherwise, we built our business from 2012 till 2022 with a mere 4 crore investment in the business. And we were at team size of...
Sorry, I'm interrupting you. Just wanted to get this because you said about 80x made me think. So what business revenue did you hit? Let's say in 2020, I know that is the COVID year.
Mm-hmm.
What was your gross billing value and what was your margin income on that?
Some of these numbers I don't have off the radar, but I would...
Indicative.
So the gross revenue, so yeah, I'll give you a ballpark number. So 2022 is when I kind of got a private equity who kind of gave an exit to my...
We can take 2022 as the base year.
So I had raised a total of 4 crores in terms of capital. And I gave an exit to my investors in the range of around, I don't know whether I should quote all the numbers, but let's say around 150 crores of exit.
Wow, it's really phenomenal.
Yeah, approximately. And we obviously keep going at this point in time. At a revenue level, we were at that point in time close to, so we're a team of close to 230 or 240 or people. And at a revenue level, we were close to, gross, we were around 700 crores. Net, we were around 100 crores.
Wow. By gross, you mean the billing value to the clients?
Yeah. And 100 crores as the actual revenue which we earn.
Distill all your experience. And then, I know everybody has different kind of an entrepreneurial journey. Therefore, your experience could be different and unique. But if you want to draw some general principles, and if you want to advise someone who wants to get into an entrepreneurship right now, he may have an idea, he may not have an idea. What are the important prerequisites before you dive into the entrepreneurship business? Maybe that is the first part that you would like to share. And second, when you go through challenges or when you go through a downturn, how do you decide, should I stay here or should I quit? Or, okay, stay, quit or change into some other business. If you can, we can take these two first and then see if you want to expand further.
Sure. So I think entrepreneurship is largely a journey which is not a sprint; it's a marathon. That has to be clear when someone starts that. It's not about that I start something and tomorrow I make it big. So that's something which you should be clear. Any and every business in the world, be it small or large, has taken 5 to 10 years to at least mature. That is something which anybody who wants to start should be really thoughtful about. 10 years, and these 10 years might be thankless. Your other peers would be doing well in their lives. You may feel, why the hell am I doing this for my life? So it's a lot of passion which has to go into building it, and a lot of thanklessness which goes in, right? Because for every bad things you are there, and every good things it's there. So that's one thing. Second, I think since the journey is long, and it's very important that you should be able to get your co-founders. And getting your co-founders right is very, very important. I think one of the things which I have been blessed of has been my co-founders. And it's not about just being blessed of. You have to always be very respectful for each other.
Yeah.
And have that trust, which is very, very important. Because one thing which will happen is it will change. This will never be a right business. Business will keep evolving. You would have tough times. You would have multiple things which will keep coming. You'll have to play with each other's strength and really criticizing each other. So that's second important thing. Third thing is that you should really be aware that that you have to make a lot of hard work, and I think that's something which has to be in the crux of it. So largely these 2-3 things.
You didn't mention anything about finance, money, or resources. So how much of importance was it in your initial phase?
So I think finance-wise, I think it's important, and I've been saying that my family. So while I've been saying that I had this support of my family, I did not take a lot of capital from my family. So I managed to run through the entire journey from my own invested shares or whatever I had. In a true sense, one thing we should really be thoughtful about is, while you are doing entrepreneurship because you love it, you'll have to make sure that your family or your wife is really wanting to do that, because they have to be equally share of that journey, because you would always come back with a lot of stress, etc. So I always, beyond my family, I thank my wife for being a very support system. From a wealth standpoint, that wealth piece, you don't make a lot of money early in your career. So you have to be sure that if you have thought that the business will have a business plan which would get good outcome in 12 months, ideal scenario, you would achieve that in like 24 months. Most of them achieve in 36 months. So to that extent, you should really be covered for your cash flows on that. It's always important to keep your cash requirements and spends low. So you should be ready that you will not be able to live your lifestyle, not be able to go to your, let's say, if you like to go to pubs or travel, etc. Those would be off your stuff for 2-3 years. And those are hard choices which you'll have to do, because every bit of everything which you have in terms of resource has to go into making this whole thing successful. And just not for you, but also for your co-founders. So yeah, that's something which you should have.
Okay, now let's look at the second part of the question. How do you know that, okay, we're moving in the right direction and we will reach our destination if we travel in this path? Or you realize that, okay, maybe I'm not getting signals that this is the right path. So how do you figure that out?
I think very, very important and very relevant, right? As I mentioned in my journey, I kind of changed to 7 or 8 business ideas. One thing which really helps you in that is, I think every 6 months or 3 to 6 months, one is you are always busy in operations, and when you're busy in operation, you can spend your life doing that. But one thing we always used to do as co-founders is take time off at least once a quarter or once in 6 months. So we meet obviously at operations regularly, but in 3 to 6 months, we take time. And that time we kind of discuss that where are we headed? Is this something which you want to do? Go back to the drawing board, look at everything which is happening in our lives. And then be very open and share that what is it the other person is expecting. Now, there are multiple times when the occasion came in that, hey, this is not going anywhere, let's quit. And while we had 4 founders at that point in time, anybody quit would have left their business really uncertain. The only thing which kept us going was, let's give the next 6 months to it. And I think that is very, very important. All said and done, this whole lage raho, with the right attitude, etc., helps you, because persistence is the most important thing in building a business. Second thing which also helps is you would always be very, 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 very positive about your business idea or what you're doing. One thing which helps is either within your founding team, if there's someone who challenges the status quo, would help you really have the question that, are we going the right direction? The other way to do that is we always have our mentors. In our cases, it was my elder brother, Manoj's elder brother. We knew some folks around to whom we used to bring in our discussions, who used to question us and say, what are you doing in your career? Where have you headed? Will this help you somewhere? And someone who knows the industry. So those help you understand that are in the right direction. If you're not in the right direction, then you take those decisions which might require some bit of efforts, some bit of cost, but you take those decisions. So that's the only way we kind of manage to sail through.
So where do you see your business going from here? You think you have taken off, or you think there's still a lot of stages before you really take off? Where do you see your business now?
No, so I think one important thing, and this is also the place where we are in the journey. So we got a private equity on board, and as we speak, we kind of have merged with a company called as Gift, which is one company, which is a strategic company based out of Singapore with offices in New York, in the space of loyalty.
Okay.
And today we kind of merging both these companies to build Gift as one of the largest rewards incentive loyalty company in the world. I think, and the idea for us is we are in the place where we want to make this build for the next 3 years and then go public. And then we want to become the pioneers or the first largest company to be listed in Nasdaq in the next 3 years.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I was not ready for that kind of an answer, actually. Okay. I thought you're still talking about small organic growth. You surprised me with a big inorganic one.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Do you see yourself branching off and doing something more, or you're quite happy and content to stay the course with this business?
I think that, so I'm happy with what I'm doing now, obviously with the private equity and the whole strategic and the merger happening today. I think this is, we have a goal plan of getting into our IPO in the next 2-3 years, and we have a path to achieve that, and we are equally hooked to do that. I think once we are kind of going through that, it's always important that we have also built up a capability of the next set of leaders. And eventually, if they are the guys who want to take it up from there, I think I'll still be young enough to pick something else next.
Okay. See, in the journey that you have narrated till now, for me, the biggest surprising element is actually it's more like a services business. There may be tangible products, but it's more like a services business. And sizing the market, okay? I really don't know how you went about understanding who could be my potential customer, what is the size of this business, how could it grow? Can you throw some light when the business can itself be a little fuzzy like this? Or is it not fuzzy? Am I reading it wrong?
No, it's not so. You're right in kind of doing it, but I think that is where the depth of the industry comes in. So when you look at it, there are multiple. If I have to look at it, our business from a outside view, we're doing 7 businesses together. We are doing a rewards business. We are doing an employee engagement business. We are doing a sales commission business. We are doing a channel incentive business. We are doing marketing automation software business for whole stuff, right? So there are multiple businesses which we are doing. The way we look at in terms of, again, customers, for me, any and every company is a customer. Because a small company would also do a rewarding, a large company also does it. That's something which you kind of distinguish when you build up your GTM, right? Saying, do I run after enterprise or do I run after small? What is the mechanism which you will run after small, or what do you do for the large ones, right? The way to look at mapping the whole customer and business, and I think we spend good time to do that, is to look at what percent of the spends in different industries is happening in rewards, loyalty, and incentives. So a company like ITS would spend anywhere between 3% of the total revenue. So the way to look at is find out the ITS company's total revenue, put a 3% multiplication, that's the whole market size which you have to run after.
Okay.
You look at insurance, BFSI, they would spend around 7 to 8% of their whole pieces. FMCG, FMCD, they would spend 3% of the total spends on channel incentives. So that's one way to look at it, which is top-down approach. There's one bottom-down or bottom-up approach as well, where you say every company does this. in the employee, they would spend 250 rupees a month, 3,000 rupees a year, so many companies, etc. etc. So obviously, there are a lot of ways and maths to do it, which is what you learn in MBA.
Now, maybe this is from my curiosity. What proportion of your, let's say the business in 2023, what proportion was it from new existing customers coming again and engaging with you? What proportion would be new business?
Close to 70% of 75% of our customers are repeat business. And we would look at spending more on that, because today when we look at it, we have multiple use cases which we serve for, right? So a company might be using us for their employees. We try to sell them for their sales and sell them for their marketing. So multiple use cases and like-to-like customers. So by like-to-like customer growth itself, we can just become 3 times our size without acquiring new customers.
Okay, great. Thanks, Sumit. I mean, I could keep going on because I have a lot of curiosity. And for you, it is like, it's a 12-year journey.
Well,
And I'm sure you have a lot of great experiences to share. Okay, we will catch up some other time and continue the thread from there.
thank you so much. Thanks for giving us this opportunity, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Sure, thanks.
Thank you.
I hope the viewers enjoy this conversation, and there is an opportunity for us to engage with you one more time, and we can look at your business from some other dimension.
Surely. Thank you.
Yeah.